You say you haven't been the same since you had your little crash, but you might feel better if they gave you some cash. The more I think about it, old Billy was right. Let's kill all the lawyers, kill them tonight. You don't want to work, you want to live.
Well, there he is.
Found my phone. You saw that earlier.
Yeah.
Lost my bottle of whiskey, but I see that you may
There
have
it
brought
is.
it down.
Yeah, we found Uncle Jack sitting there.
There you go.
You know, episode 10, we talked about the Supreme Court getting a case involving a dog toy. That was named Bad Spaniels. And basically, the reason that the Supreme Court got this case is because Jack Daniels sued the manufacturer of this dog toy and said it infringed upon their trademark. It would confuse the consumers. And so the Court of Appeals basically said, hey, this is a joke. You know, this is a parody. You know, it's freedom of speech. Everyone knows this is not Jack Daniels. It's Bad Spaniels, the old number 2. You know, the old number 2 on your carpet. But Jack Daniels did not agree with the Court of Appeals, and it went to the Supreme Court.
Right. So at the trial level, they agreed with Jack Daniels that this case, that the dog toy did infringe. On appeal by the dog toy manufacturers, the Court of Appeals agreed that with the people that are doing the appeal, decided the appeal, and said, no, it doesn't confuse. This is non-commercial.
Non-commercial.
And therefore is an exception under, there's an exception under the rules that this is not an infringement of the trademark.
Right. I mean, it actually says, you know, this is in no way, shape, or form affiliated with Jack Daniels Distillery. This is a dog toy. This is a dog toy that you buy at PetSmart. You know, you don't buy this where liquor is bought or sold. I wouldn't think. You know, so that would be the confusion, wouldn't it? Maybe if it was a liquor competitor with the same bottle and the same kind of script on what Jack Daniels uses with his font and everything, and mellowed, matured, tasted, awarded on it.
Well, while the court did point out this was a very narrow ruling as to why they sided with Jack Daniels, the court did not overturn the test they used.
So the Supreme Court heard the case, came down, and sided with Jack Daniels.
They did, and
that shows me the court has absolutely no sense of humor whatsoever.
Well, maybe they don't.
Not at all.
But not only does it say that, this was a unanimous opinion, so it shows none of them have such a humor.
No, absolutely not.
But this is what I really think that they did.
Tell me.
They said that this was a.
What's crazy also, you know, is the Supreme Court, when they decided this very important case, they also decided, you know, they actually upheld parts of the Voting Rights Act, right?
Yeah, but let's finish this part.
Which is important.
Yeah.
You know, the Voting Rights Act is fundamental to our democracy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they actually took action to uphold our democracy in making sure we don't gerrymander certain districts to exclude certain voters.
Right.
They had the time to actually discuss this.
Well,
that's insane.
Well, this is what I think they really did. So they
it irritates me.
They point
it
out.
Just irritates me that, you know, they're getting involved in jokes. I mean, it's a parody, man.
Yeah, but you're talking about, you know, a company that has spent years and decades
I know.
developing a brand, and the Supreme Court went to great lengths to say that they're not overturning the test that's applied to determine about confusing products. And that's one of the tests they use about confusing.
Okay,
so what I believe that they did is they said, well, there is a level of confusion,
Right.
and just because you put something in these small
know.
little
You're
letters
right.
on the back, so this is not associated with Jack Daniels.
You know.
I think if you looked at these two things, somebody could easily be confused that this is a Jack Daniels product and this is a Jack Daniels product. So if that's the confusion, and if that's what is driving sale of these, it's like, wow, look at that, Jack Daniels.
So what you're telling me is it goes back down on appeal to the Court of Appeals? Is that right? It goes back down.
I mean, they have decided this. No, the Supreme Court has decided, did they not, that no, this is a trademark infringement.
Right. Okay.
Now, if there's damages being sought
Right.
as to the sale of this toy, and my understanding from the facts is that there's many of these toys still at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Not only that, this company also made a product called, let's see, Mountain Drool.
Mountain Drew. Yeah.
A parody
Yeah.
of Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Did Mountain
And-
Dew sue?
Well, they
them
may have
for Mountain
to.
Dew?
I think that
Drew?
they will get the message by this.
Yeah.
By this, maybe there will be a claim for damages.
Maybe
they also
Mountain
had one
Dew
for
has a sense of humor.
tiny sniffing.
Yeah, for
instead of
Heineken, and
Yeah,
maybe
so-
Heineken has got a sense of humor.
Yeah, so-
you know, Jack Daniels needs to get a sense of humor. This is humorous right here.
Well, I'm
this
glad-
is creative right here. You know, I mean that's a
On
play
behalf
off
of
words
whiskey
right
drinkers,
there.
I am glad they
I
protected
mean,
old Jack.
Well, you know,
But really, truly, off of this and back to what you were talking about is, they did make a very significant ruling, and you know it was a bipartisan. It was conservative jurists.
it was a 5-4 decision,
and liberal jurists,
I
you know,
think
sided.
was it Alabama or Georgia?
It was Alabama.
Alabama, where they had gerrymandered a district, might have been in the 5th district in Alabama, you know, and just where they cut out a lot of representation because the black voters were being diminished.
And basically, what the Supreme Court said is you can't draw these districts to create a way that you basically exclude
Right.
black voters at a disproportionate rate.
Right.
In other words, you should be able to elect representatives that are in somewhat proportion to
Well,
the
for-
demographics of a state.
Georgia, 25% of the voting public are black, you know,
Right.
and the goal is when you draw these districts is you want at least 25% of their representation to be, you know, opportunity
Correct.
to elect black representatives, right?
You would hope that the mission is when they approach these gerrymandering cases is that the minorities or the blacks in any particular state make up the representation, whether it's to the state house or whether
Right.
it's to Congress
Right.
in Washington. That they're represented
Well,
based kind of on the
I'll tell you
population,
what.
and that's what happened.
I will not drink to their decision involving the sweet toy, but I will drink to their decision involving the Voting Rights Act, and how important that is to make sure that we have equal voting for all the people that are represented, you know. And you're right, it was a 5-4 decision,
Right.
and we had liberals and conservatives come together.
And you know what? That's the way things should be. We should embrace what good liberals have to offer, and we should embrace what good, or progressives, and we should embrace what good conservatives have to offer.
Right.
That's what we call.
Yeah.
You know, we love it when the courts do those things
Right.
because they're reaching across and they're finding
Yes.
common ground. And you know what? It would be great if our members of Congress, whether it be the House or the Senate, if they did the
We
same
can
thing and
listen.
start governing instead of fighting.
That's a whole new
Start
new
governing
podcast.
instead of fighting, man.
Thank you, gentlemen. See you
Steve,
next time. This has
thank
been 2 Marks and
One mic or 2 marks, one mic. Thank you, guys.
cheers.
Cheers.
Get over